now. We're recording already. Starting the stream. So the person I first really remember, and I probably had heard it before and didn't pay it much mind, but Doug Benson always had koozie when he was on his show, and he's from San Diego, so I don't know that it's an East Coast thing. Maybe he picked it up from somebody on the East Coast.
Okay,
but I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, I grew up with cozy, not koozie.
Okay.
Yep.
See, cozy for me is COZY, like as in like
not COSY.
Not COSY, COZY.
Huh.
I didn't know how it was spelled at all.
I don't know why I'm asking you guys.
See, I spelled it KEQXTXY.
That sounds like a radio station.
Koozie. I mean, cozy.
This is Brian Eagle for KZXY. Olympia, Washington. Oh, not Olympia.
I doubt it.
Kirkland, Washington.
Sure, I mean, they're both places in Washington. In college, I used to go down to Olympia frequently.
For sure. Okay.
To visit friends that went to the Evergreen State College.
Yeah. Olympia's cool.
It was a pretty cool time.
I worked with someone in Barnes and Nobles that was from Olympia. Yeah. Yeah, he was a pretty cool guy.
It's far from Seattle, though.
I never said anything about Seattle, but I was
giving you information. It's often confused.
How far from Seattle is Olympia? I know it's south of Seattle, right? It is south.
About an hour drive.
Okay.
Maybe less.
I think it's farther than that. Because it's like
I mean, from Seattle, not from Kirkland, but from Seattle. If you go straight down from Seattle, it's about an hour.
But isn't it longer than that? Oh. How far is it? It's Tacoma's nearly an hour, isn't it?
It depends on traffic, but I feel like you could get to Olympia in about an hour.
So I know Olympia is the capital, but how? Like, I need some reference of like how big is that city? I don't think it's Seattle big.
No.
But
Olympia?
Yeah, it's much.
I don't know. It has a very small town feel, or at least it used to.
Then why is it the capital?
Well, there's a lot of towns in the U.S. that are not the biggest cities. That are Sacramento, the capital of California.
Yep, fair enough.
You've got San Diego, San Francisco, Oakland, L.A. They're all much bigger cities. So, you know, what's the capital of Connecticut?
860 Hot Pod.
See?
Woo woo! And it's not. I mean,
what's capital of New York? Huh?
Albany.
Augusta.
That's
what?
What?
Wait, no, what did I say? Augusta? No, sorry.
Were you from Maine?
Albany.
Yeah, sorry.
Clearly not from the East Coast.
Nice. All right, enough of this capital business. What's the capital of Brazil?
Fucking, what is it?
I don't know.
No, it's,
No? You said, I don't know. No, Mike, you do know.
Okay, my guess.
It's not Rio de Janeiro. It's Brasilia, isn't it?
Brasilia, yeah. I think there's actually two capitals, but Brasilia is one of them. Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think it's Brasilia and I want to say Rio, but it may be Sao Paulo.
All right,
anyway,
can we go into this movie?
Yeah, let's get to the thing.
All right.
Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Oh boy, this is gonna be rough for me, man. This is gonna be rough, Mike. This is gonna be rough because I had 3 full pints before coming to Brian's place tonight, and
I've already had a beer and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had a couple of chew highs. By the way, did you guys hear that Coca-Cola is getting into the chew high business?
No.
Oh man, what was it?
No.
What was that stuff called? Hard cola?
Hard cola, right?
Yeah,
Cola Shock.
Cola
Shock.
And Cola Punch. Cola Punch is great too.
And I remember our like good buddy of ours, Ben.
Yeah.
From Tasmania was like all about that shit too.
I love the colas.
The Cola Shock?
Yeah, I don't drink cola regularly.
Yeah.
Like I maybe 2-3 times a year. But I love me some fucking Cola chew high.
Yeah, Cola Shock was great. Especially like the diet one.
Yeah.
It was not as sweet.
Yeah.
It was good. All right.
Let's do this.
Let's
get to this thing. Ready?
Here we go.
Hold on, I've got gum. All right.
Okay. Welcome to Home by 8, Drunk by 10, Season 4, Episode 47. This is a five-bagger, which is one of us watches a movie 5 times in 5 days, and the other 2 probably watch it at once each. Today's movie is Brazil, the drama sci-fi released in 1984 and is 2 hours and 22 minutes long. This is Mel and Brian, and I'm your top batter, Mike. We apologize in advance for the audio, video, and content quality. Enjoy. I don't think I've ever gotten through one of those without messing up.
Well, you did a
Multiple
little bit,
parts.
but yeah. Nice.
I just felt like my
God, it's so cold.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
This
seriously,
happened last time. It's
I
too
just
cold.
felt like my esophagus just filled up with beer and just like froze up my ribs.
Yeah, it's so nice when you don't have to do that part of the stupid thing.
Yep. I understand.
Oh man. Talk about.
Oh, wait.
What? Huh?
Wait a minute. And I'm your top batter. You're not the top batter. We did this all wrong. You're the
Oh
top
yeah,
batter.
I did that totally wrong. I'm not the top batter.
I said it last time, man.
Then we fucked that up last time.
We fucked it up last time, then. How was it supposed to go?
The
You're
top
supposed to
batter is
read
the
that.
first person that talks, which I guess is Mel, right?
Yeah.
But for some
Yeah, so
reason,
I filled it out wrong.
for some reason,
Yeah.
Brian printed out the script for me last episode.
I did, didn't I?
And I read it.
Wait, did I not read it last time?
No, I read it. I'm very sure I read it, even though.
Yeah, I think
couldn't
you're
hear
right. I think we messed it up 2
I read
times in
it.
a row. All right, everybody, restart. Here.
Oh well.
All right, Mel, you're kicking it off.
Wait, what? Brazil?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's pretty fast.
That's what we're here to do. Talk about that movie.
Okay, so let me start by saying that I want to start by saying a question to you guys,
Asking.
or asking a question to you guys. Are you two fans of Monty Python?
Good question.
That is a very good question.
Excellent
Yeah.
first question. I'll go first. I liked Monty Python Search for the Holy Grail. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's one of them.
When we were in high school, junior high school, or whatever.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have not really enjoyed or
Okay,
liked anything
okay.
else by them. I tried to
Didn't
watch.
we-
I tried to watch Life of Brian. I mentioned.
Didn't
this
we talk about
previously.
like doing a 5-bagger with Life of Brian? Was that?
I don't know.
me,
I
or-
remember I mentioned it. I
Okay.
mentioned trying to watch it and just I couldn't.
Okay. Because I
I
remember
feel like we talked about. I don't remember if it was in the episode last
Yeah.
time or not, but we definitely talked about Monty Python. last time.
Okay. Because I knew like one of the episodes that we did, we definitely brought up Life of Brian.
Yes, and I mentioned.
And-
Oh shit! I don't have fucking. Never mind. Keep going.
No, I'm just saying like, I just thought like maybe that was the precipice for Mike to choose Brazil. I don't know.
Yeah, we
But
mentioned it at some
anyways.
point, but I don't remember why. And I do remember saying I tried to watch it because my name's Brian, and and I couldn't make it more than like 10 minutes into the movie or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Terrible.
I've seen Life of Brian,
Okay.
Holy Grail. What's the life? There's something about life.
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi, and then well, I don't know. No, that's not it. No, wait. I'm just.
I know
looking
that's
with
not it.
And now,
what's
well, I just know
the-
their series, and now for something completely different.
Well, and there was the TV show, which I've only seen a couple episodes of.
and they also did
No, there's a
Flying
movie.
Circus.
the Flying Circus, right?
Whatever. Yeah, I've seen some of it. Yeah.
Are you a fan?
No, I'm not a fan. I don't
Okay.
dislike it, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Monty Python.
Okay.
I liked Holy Grail. I thought that was a funny movie, and
Okay.
I've seen it multiple times. But other than that,
Yeah, I think Monty Python
was
is
never-
fun, but I'm not a fan.
Okay, so this leads me to this film, Brazil, made in 1985 by Terry Gilliam, the only American in the Monty Python group, right?
he used to
And-
be American.
Well, he is American.
He
He was
renounced
born in like Wisconsin or
right,
Minnesota.
right,
Minnesota.
right. But
and
he is
he
like.
renounced his citizenship, so he is
Dude,
not American anymore.
I guess if you are in Monty Python, you cannot be American.
You can be a dual citizen between the UK and the US. So he did it for some other reason.
Anyways,
I don't know. I'm guessing taxes.
So I grew up with my oldest brother being a huge fan of Monty Python, right?
All right.
And my older brother was a big influence with films for me too. I didn't like some films that he liked, but like Monty Python was one of the comedian groups that I really loved, and I'd never seen Brazil, but I've seen many Monty Python films. And the moment I put on Brazil onto my Apple TV and started watching it, I realized the first note I wrote was I kind of wished the entire Monty Python crew was here for Brazil, because I really would love to know what characters that those other members of the group would have done in this film, because it would have been fucking much more insane. I think it would have been much more insane if not just Terry Gilliam directing and Michael Palin. I think that was his name, right? Michael Palin, the hacksaw doctor, right? The guy that
Jack.
was Jack. Yeah. And I thought, like, if just only if like the rest of the crew were in this movie, I think this movie would have been like a bazillion times more insane. Like, I think they would go, like, John Cleese would go, like, have, like, a character that would be, like, going nuts, going around, and I just thought, like, the other characters, like Eric Idle, or the guy that died earlier in the Monty Python group. But anyways, like, I just thought...
John Bonham.
No, that's Led Zeppelin. No, I just, like, the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm just like, man, the movie is so great, but at the same time, I'm just like, man, I just kind of wish like other Monty Python like cameos came in and just like kind of put in their spin to the movie.
So I've got a quick question for you. Do you think if this movie were more insane, it would have been better?
No, I mean, who knows? That's the thing. That's the thing I'm wondering. Like, who would know if it would be better or worse? You know, but
Sure.
But like, you could just, there's something about this movie that you can feel that Terry Gilliam was like, he missed Monty Python. There's something about this movie that I can feel that like he really wished he had the other members of Monty Python in this movie.
I thought there was some feel of Monty Python, but I figured that was more just that he directed their movies. So of course gonna have a,
like, he wanted to kind of do his own, you know, he wanted to continue his own career path of his style, right? So that's my one side of my review of Brazil. The other side is this movie is fucking phenomenal. This movie was amazing. And I don't know, like, I'm not a big steampunk guy, but I believe this movie was a heavy influence of reviving steampunk from the Victorian age of literature of steampunk, like back in the day of like Jules Verne and like you know those like 18th century like English writers that were doing a lot of like, you know, Journey to the Center of Earth and kind of stuff like that, you know, and I'm sorry, I'm
people like him,
H.G. Wells, you know, Lovecraft, right, and so I felt like
I'd say Lovecraft is not.
he's not 19th century, but like
I was like, going with it.
I felt like Terry Gilliam, I know he had this movie, I know he was really pissed with The Man, and he's all about that Orwellian vibe of like, you know, not really the Big Brother thing, but like he's all about like that being against the bureaucracy of all things, you know, in society. I know that, I get that, but I think his strongest point in this movie was bringing back steampunk for that period, the 1980s, 1970s, 1980s, right? And I think he did it so well because it was so witty and it was so comical. Like, a lot of like stories that are like considered steampunk are kind of like too serious for me. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of like pushing themselves to be way too far to like, all right, this is how the future is going to be. It's like this dystopian like universe where people are just fucking hating themselves, right? And they're delusional. But like Terry Gilliam put it into a path where it was comical, it was witty, it was satirical, and that's how I viewed steampunk. That's how I viewed things about why that steampunk storyline, you know, makes it's an entertaining story. So that's why I think Brazil is phenomenal. I think Brazil captured something that I've never seen in film, you know, in my life. This was the first time I saw Brazil, and I think the way they use computers, the way they like had like a fucking what do you call that? Like a magnifying paper shit, like to like use as a two-screen monitor with a tiny ass tube monitor. I think that was so fucking hilarious.
That was pretty good.
Like the first time I saw that, I'm like, dude, that's hilarious. Like, and it was on purpose, right? And like things like that, those little details, and one of my favorite scenes I wrote down in my notes was like talking about the Orwellian satire in this whole thing.
You have very few notes.
Very few notes. I love the scene where the main character, what's his name? Joe. Wait, no.
Yeah, Sam Lowry.
Sam Lowry, right?
Sam Lowry.
So when Sam Lowry gets promoted and goes into the information retrieval department or whatever.
Yep.
And like
look at these notes, huh?
Oh shit, you're more than me. So when he walks in, and then the first thing he sees as he walks in is like this empty like fucking cavern of a hallway, and he sees like a group of people rushing back and forth like a fucking Warner Brothers, like Looney Tunes, like Roadrunner versus Coyote, you know, chasing each other. But it's really like the head boss and like his fucking minions trailing behind him and like shoving paper in his face and like, what do you think about this? Yes, no, yes, no. To me, I thought that was fucking brilliant. And my favorite line in that whole entire scene, it was like 30 seconds long. My favorite line was like, what do you think about this guy? No in triplicate, the boss said. And I was like, dude, that I just fucking bursted out laughing. I'm like, no in triplicate? Who fucking says that? You know? Like, I was like, that's just amazing. And then Sam Lowry gets caught up in the fucking crowd, and then the boss goes, oh, welcome to our fucking department, and then here's your room. And then he kind of brushes them off into his room, and then the rest of the crowd goes away. And then Sam Lowry goes into his room, and he's like, whoa, what the fuck is this? It's basically like a fucking furnace room, and with a desk and like half a desk, right?
I was gonna say half.
Oh
half
god, that entire scene, that series of scenes was magical. I'd never seen something like that before. I've never seen anything like that in film.
Can I comment about that?
Sure, go ahead.
Are you sure? Are you close to being done, or are you far away?
I'm very close to being done, actually.
I go finish.
No, I'm just saying. I've never seen something like that before. To move on, there are many things I'm sure Brian and Mike, you would probably like point out that there's so many details of steampunk and little quirky things that happened. But the last thing I want to say before I pass it on to Brian is I fucking love Robert De Niro in this movie. I think he was awesome in it. I think he was a very interesting choice. Very interesting choice. Right. Like you see the standard De Niro, Scorsese casting De Niro as like a mafia dude or a hitman or a fucking mafia boss. But in this movie, like De Niro was such a witty character, and he was important, but at the same time he was like a comic relief.
Yes.
To the role of the story, and
in a movie
where he wasn't a main character at all. And
he's absurd.
Yeah, he was so absurd. And
he's only got like 5 or 6 scenes total.
Yeah, and I actually cried out loud.
Almost all of them come at the end.
Like my wife was like pissed because I cried out loud when what's his name, Harry Tuttle switched the fucking like shit tube roll with a fucking arrow, and then like the fucking waist stuff goes up into the suit, and I was like, oh, you just got shit on.
She's like, I've never given you the Wi-Fi password yet.
And I was like hyped when I saw that scene,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, all right, that was a perfect role for De Niro. But moving on, I'm just gonna say this was a great movie. I think this was a great. If anyone who wasn't into sci-fi or who wanted to get into like sci-fi movies and like even steampunk, film noir kind of movies, this is the type of movie to get into for a primer. So I loved it. Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
Sure. I will say thank you, Mike, for taking 7,000 hours of your week to watch this 5 times.
Yeah. That's another thing I should have said too. Like, it's a long movie, man.
It's a long, motherfucking movie.
Fucking movie.
And the specific scene you mentioned where he's transferred finally to the information retrieval department is where I first started to kind of enjoy this movie.
Okay.
Because that scene I thought was really well done and really well paced, and like the absurdity matched the feeling I thought that the director was going for.
I really thought it was like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
That's what I was hoping there would be more of. Like, not this.
And that's like an hour and a half into the movie.
It's an hour and 10 minutes into the film.
Oh, hour and 10. Okay, I was gonna say it's pretty deep into the movie.
Yeah, and I finally had a laugh when he was pulling the table through the wall. And oh my god, like
I was like laughing.
The first hour and 10 minutes of this movie, I didn't laugh once. Didn't find anything funny. None of the comedy landed with me. Right? And like I was like, oh my god, I was 20 minutes into the movie and I was like, holy shit, there's still 2 hours to go and nothing is working for me. And I was really scared of what was going to happen over the next 2 hours. And then an hour and 10 minutes, I got to that scene and I was like, all right, that's not bad. But even so, I'm going to say I didn't like this movie.
Okay.
But I think this is a good movie, which is a weird thing to say and to feel.
Why are you saying it's a good movie, though?
I know what you mean.
I thought...
Sorry, this is the first time you had seen it too, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like I said, I'd only ever seen Search for the Holy Grail, and then I tried to watch Life of Brian once.
So, but before coming to this movie, were you trying to base this off of like a Monty Python movie?
My first note is, so I know nothing about this movie except Doug Benson used to talk about it sometimes. And I had no idea what this movie was. I had zero idea. I had no idea it was. You guys were talking last time. We were talking about Terry Gilliam or whatever.
Yeah.
I had no idea who the fuck that was.
Okay.
I did not know. In like the description in what's it? IMDb was what? Drama sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like drama sci-fi.
I had no idea it was even supposed to be funny at all. No idea. So when I watched this, I had no idea. I didn't even know it wasn't in Brazil. Shit, I didn't know shit about
That's what's crazy about that movie. It's pretty cool.
Well, the name of the movie comes from the song. Yeah, so I had no idea, but I checked that kind of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, for the first hour and 10 minutes, I didn't enjoy this at all. But I understood, I thought...
You had basically another... regular movies worth of time to enjoy them.
Yeah, and then it got fucking wild finally. Like there was so much stuff in the beginning that I thought was just kind of boring and dry and like such a setup, and it could have been done in a better way in 20 minutes.
So would you say like if you saw this movie in the theater when it first came out,
it's hard to say. 1985.
I know. I'm just saying like if you were there in the theater the first week it came out, would you have dozed off that first hour, or?
I don't know. Like I said, if it was the first time I'd ever seen a movie like this, then, maybe not. Maybe I would have been into it. But it's like it's so far removed from that that it's hard to make a judgment, I'd say. Because none of it was landing on me. None of the jokes, none of the humor. Like I thought that the magnifying screen was kind of a cool idea.
It's very quirky. That was for sure.
But like none of the characters, like I thought Sam was awesome from the beginning.
Yeah,
this is one of the reasons I think it's a good movie. I think his performance
was
amazing, start to finish.
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely, yeah, he's
and
very good.
yeah,
I'm sorry to interject, but like I from the beginning of the movie, I really was questioning Sam. Like, is he borderline insane? Is he normal?
yeah, and like I
like the whole fucking movie, I was just like, is he insane or is he normal?
I had developed a theory that the Robert De Niro character was basically the Tyler Durden of this movie, and like I think it's not so because what's her face, his love interest or whatever, actually sees him at some point, right?
Yeah.
So as I guess that blew that idea out of the water, but I thought that would have been a cool idea so far ahead of time of Fight Club. So yeah. So and why did I think this was a good movie? I thought that like what they did with the second half of the movie was really interesting.
It's phenomenal, dude.
And like just the wildest roller coaster I've ever been on. And like at that point I had given up on caring about what the story was and caring about
just
the
let it go.
humor of it.
Yeah.
And like I'd just been like, all right, just show me some shit. And they just showed me some
that's
shit.
what I wanted to say. I wanted to say
like,
the editing of like the last third of the movie was fucking phenomenal. Like when from the beginning when he was like strapped into that chair in that dome room, and then he goes off and like Harry Tuttle like plans his escape, and like from then on, those sequences of events until the very end and where the credits roll up, that was perfectly edited. Like it was just like a fucking roller coaster ride.
And like I
loved it.
I am not someone who likes not surrealism. I don't like absurdist or that style.
This is very absurdist.
I know I don't like that, that's I don't like abstract stuff. I'm not a big fan of it in painting. I'm not a big fan of it in movies. I have found some situations where I do like what's it called, Clockwork Orange. I really think that's done really really well. Which I know I'm out here on a ledge. I'm the only one who thinks that. But I generally do not like that kind of stuff. But in this, like I was just so done with caring that that maybe the length of the movie helped contribute to my feeling that it was a good movie because I was so done with caring about it that I kind of just enjoyed what happened, and I didn't care that it didn't make sense at times or it was just absurd or whatever. I was just like, oh man, this is fucking nuts. I do want to shout out, there was the Battleship Potemkin scene. Did you guys notice that? Have you ever seen the Battleship Potemkin? It's an old Russian movie. It's very famous for many reasons, but particularly there's this scene of these troops marching down this huge staircase.
It's a huge staircase.
Huge staircase, just gunning down innocent civilians. And there's a baby carriage that like rolls through the frame and stuff. And when they're inside of the building, the information retrieval headquarters or whatever it's called, Ministry of Information.
Ministry of Information,
Like they're just shooting the people, and then there's the cleaning robot or whatever that rolls through the screen. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep, me too. I caught that too. I thought that was pretty funny.
But so that was about it. I really didn't find the heroine attractive at all, even though she's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think that's a generational thing. I think back in that day, that time period, a lot of females were wearing short cropped hair, dude.
I'm not against short hair. I just didn't. She did not do anything for me.
Okay.
She was no Katie Holmes. Am I right?
How I wait for our lives to be over. But
I'm gonna pass the torch if Mike wants it.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So I watched it 5 times.
Yeah, goodness.
Yeah, see, I when I texted you, Mike, like congratulations, I really meant it. Like, holy shit, 2 hours and 20 minutes for a movie 5 times. Like, that's
2 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah,
it took a big chunk of my day every day.
And I'm just
I said yesterday. So I watched it Sunday to Thursday.
I was just like,
so I didn't watch it today.
Yeah.
I was saying to Brian yesterday, I was like, I'm really looking forward to having that No,
Two- two-
not talking about the quality of the movie.
Almost 2.5 hours of break.
It'll be nice to have those 2.5 hours back to just to what I want to do.
It was
like,
long.
right?
It was long.
Yep.
So I think I'm somewhere in the middle of you guys.
Mhm.
Okay.
I didn't dislike it, but I'm definitely not as into it as you were. No.
Okay.
So I had seen this movie before,
Okay.
and I saw it probably 15 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember when. 10 or 15 years ago.
Recently.
And I didn't really like it, which is why it was on my list. It had nothing to do with our Monty Python conversation. It was on my list from the very beginning as a movie because it was a movie that I knew was super famous, super popular, but I watched it and didn't really like it. So I figured it'd be good to watch it 5 times, see if there's something I can get out of it.
The Princess Bride. That was the same thing for me.
See, you know, okay, I'm sorry, Mike, I don't want to stop you, but
No, go ahead.
I came into the 5-bagger because I felt like I came in when Brian was doing The Princess Bride, and I felt like this, you know, the project that we're doing with the 5-bagger is like a movie that we once saw that like we kind of didn't like, and then let's hope if we watch it 5 times we can change our mind. And I thought, like, was that really the premise of this?
No.
Okay.
No. It was just pick a movie. But like the reason you picked that movie could be anything.
Okay.
Yeah, so like
I've picked movies that are
movie-
supposed to be great. I've never seen. I've picked movies that are supposed to be great. I have seen. You know, I've picked movies that I'd never seen, and you know,
because my frame of reference or my frame of mind is basically I picked a movie that I once liked before, and I wanted to see if watching it 5 times again would make me feel like I can still appreciate it.
Sure.
You know.
Well, so like this
Brazil
reminded me of another movie I picked, Sleeper. And I had never even heard of the movie Sleeper until like a couple of days before I picked it.
He picked it because he was looking at Woody Allen movies and just I think it was like the first one or the highest rated.
So yeah, I was like, I want to watch a Woody Allen movie. I've never seen one. I'll pick his highest ranked on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure.
Turns out he's made a bunch of 100% ranked movies.
Sure.
So I picked the earliest of them. So it was Sleeper. Yeah, so I'd never even heard of Sleeper like days before I watched it 5 times.
Right.
So yeah, like there's no criteria for how you pick the movie.
Okay.
This one happened to be because I'd seen it and didn't like it, but knew it was famous.
Okay.
But yeah, watching it 5 times, I think I appreciate the movie much more. If you had asked me before this, I would have said, yeah, Brazil, it's long, kind of boring.
Yeah.
I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
But I think I get the movie much more clearly than I did. I liked the first chunk of this movie quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I liked the movie up to where he sees Jill through the hole in the roof.
Yeah.
Or the ceiling.
Yeah.
Pretty much from there until he enters the
chamber.
the scene where the guy's running around through the hallway thing.
Right.
There's like a half hour where I didn't really like anything that was going on. But yeah, like you guys had said, from when he goes to the information retrieval to the end is crazy.
It was insane. It was like I felt like sometimes like I only watched it once and I'm like I kind of wish the movie started from there.
That's the thing, right? I felt like the beginning of the movie it's not a quick pace, but it's got a pace. Things are happening, things are moving. And then he sees her and then like just everything kind of comes to a halt.
Yeah.
Like, really nothing happens.
Yeah.
Until he gets into there. Which is really, like I said, it's only like half an hour, which in most movies would be like a third of the movie.
Right.
So, but yeah, in this one, it's not that big a deal, I guess. But yeah, I really like the whole first chunk of this movie. There's a ton of stuff that made me laugh.
Which parts made you laugh? Like which scenes?
Like in the beginning part.
Yeah.
Let me look through my notes real quick. Bob, neither of you mentioned Bob Hoskins.
Yeah. Okay.
The Central Services guys.
Yeah.
That whole side story about how aggressive they are about
the paperwork
his apartment, like. I thought that side story was like, you talked about the shit at the end, but like
that's
those guys
hilarious.
keep coming up throughout.
That was
the
so
movie.
awesome.
And yeah, I liked that side story. I thought it was this is super weird. It's really weird to see Bob Hoskins not doing an American accent.
Yeah.
Right? Because like all the movies I know him from when I was a kid were all he was doing an American accent. So a little weird.
I just kept thinking like, when is like Jessica Rabbit coming out? You know, like I just kept feeling like, because like for me, Bob Hoskins equals like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And like,
for me, he reminded me of one of the Bushwhackers. Anybody?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
with the accent particularly, I was like, oh my god, it's fucking it's Luke from Bushwhackers. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, like the whole entire scene when they go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
That whole thing I thought was funny. Like that made me laugh.
Yeah.
I hated all of the cosmetic surgery stuff. Hated it. Every time.
I didn't really talk about it too. Kind of.
I thought all of the cosmetic surgery side story stuff was pretty funny. It made me laugh.
It was just gross to me. I don't know.
But I wonder, like, at that time period, like, cosmetic surgery was just kind of taking.
I guess it was one of
I understand the point of it. It's just gross to me.
Right.
I did like seeing Mona though. Who's the boss? Shout out.
I had no idea who that was until like the end.
Oh really?
When she's like completely not wearing any of like the prosthetics or whatever. Oh. I did not realize like, oh wow, that's who's the boss lady. Yeah, I didn't recognize her up to that point. But yeah, I liked all of that. What else was I gonna say? Oh, the funniest thing, like you guys are talking about the half a desk scene, like that was funny.
Yeah.
The funniest part of that to me was when he goes in and he asks him to use the computer, and he's like, you're bothering me. I'll use the computer. Just come back. Yeah. And on his way out, he pushes the desk back over the side.
Yeah, dude, it's really hilarious.
that cracks me up every time.
That guy is amazing. That actor. What was his? I forgot. I don't know.
The other guy.
The other guy. Yeah.
The other guy. It's something Lime.
He's pretty.
Oh,
amazing.
his name in the show. Yeah, the name of the movie is Lime.
Something Lime. I don't remember.
See, but that's
which is a great name. I like that.
So, Mike, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I think I came into this premise because I knew like Brazil is Terry Gilliam, and I knew one member of Monty Python was in it, but I was wondering like.
Is Terry Gilliam in this movie?
No, he directed it.
Yeah, I knew that.
He is in the movie.
Is he in the movie?
Yeah, he's the part that goes nowhere and is never addressed.
Okay.
He's the guy smoking in the hallway with the hat and trench coat.
Oh.
That's Terry Gilliam. He's only in the movie for that one little part.
Okay.
And that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I can tell.
I just wonder like what this movie would go to if like the Monty Python comedian group actually got along together and like they actually like participated in this movie, because I think they would have done some amazing characters, like just like going through the motions while Sam is going through his like troubles and his conflicts throughout the story. I think like John Cleese would have been amazing in this movie. I think Eric Idle would have had like a fucking crazy scene in this movie. I
don't know.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think
members.
I think that would have made me like the movie less if there had been more Monty Python in it.
Stuff.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe not. I have no idea. But
who knows, though? That's the thing.
I don't feel like it was missing to me at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I felt like there's like, I mean, I guess I watched it 5 times. There's so much, there's so many jokes and like throwaway things that you would miss if you only watch it the one time.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many, like they're all like really dry humor, but like there's just a ton of stuff that are jokes that I didn't catch until like the third or fourth time. Like actually on my last time watching it, the old lady outside the Ministry of Information, when she's telling him to come, hey, throw your garbage
away. Yeah.
Right? She calls him an illiterate foreign pig.
Yeah.
Like,
no one says that.
Why? And and I didn't. The first time I watched the movie, the little girl sitting in the chair when he gets the new suit.
Oh, yeah.
In Jack's office, the first time I didn't even realize she was speaking English.
It is pretty tough to.
It's pretty tough.
Understand it.
The first, I had no idea. That was weird. All right. And then, like, by the second or third, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, she says, go on, big boy. I won't look at your willy.
Yeah.
But
those are both two things I noticed the first and only time I watched this.
Mike, what did you think about Robert De Niro, though? Like, what did you think about his performance?
I liked it. I thought, like, it's not... I mean, I guess at the time, it was not like the other stuff he had done at all. Mm-hmm. It's more like his later part of his more recent.
Yeah, that's what's weird about it.
It's like more comedic, like recent stuff that he's done.
Right.
But at the time, I'm sure it was like way out of character, different, I guess.
That's what's weird about it. It's like it looks like, you know, it's a young Robert De Niro, but like it's like a role that he would have chosen when he's like, you know, post 50 years old Robert De Niro, right? But like this role, it was just so out of character from what he usually does, and I think it's kind of exemplifies like how amazing Bobby De Niro is. You know,
Bobby.
It's surprising to me that he's the second billed person.
Yeah.
For only being in the movie for probably like, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe.
right.
But this is post Godfather, post.
Yeah. I know. It was a huge
Taxi
name,
Driver.
but it's still like he's not really in the movie for very much.
Right.
It's Billy Man.
Yeah, I think he's good. I'm really glad he didn't try and do like a British accent. That would have been a nightmare. Like, I like that he just stuck with, his normal.
Him being a fucking.
It does really sound weird when he says 27B stroke whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds weird when he says it for some reason. But
there's another word he said, a British version of.
Yeah, like there's a couple times where he uses like a British term or a British word that like
lift or something like that.
Right,
you know?
right.
And it sounds
weird.
He says it.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, have you guys ever seen Flash Gordon?
Yeah, man, I've seen it.
All of the dream scene stuff reminded me of Flash Gordon a lot.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's not exactly, but like it seemed like that.
Have you ever seen like the Sean Connery's Skeleton in the Closet movie Zardoz?
Yeah, I've seen Zardoz.
Dude, that shit reminds me of the dream scenes in.
Yeah, sure.
Like you got to see Zardoz. Like you got.
Do I?
You got to see
Zardoz. Do I gotta?
No.
Thank you, Mike.
You probably would waste like 2 hours of your life
like the first like 20 minutes of Zardoz, and then you can stop. You got it.
Like you're gonna be like, what did Mel recommend me?
Sounds about right. So, question: did anybody research the Sam guy? Any other movies that he is in?
Jonathan Pryce is fucking famous, man. He's like
I know his name is Jonathan Pryce, but I don't remember what else.
He's in like a lot of.
No idea.
But you know, after Brazil, he's been in a lot of movies where he's always like the minor character. You know what I mean? He's always like
he's a character.
He's a supporting character actor. Yeah.
I thought he was more of like a stage actor.
Sure.
I have no idea. It's the only thing I've ever seen. I didn't even know what his name was until you just said.
Jonathan Pryce.
Yep.
I've
His
just
name
never
was Sam.
like when I grew up. I only knew Jonathan Pryce with like when he was older, when he with white hair. Like this Brazil was the first time I seen him actually, under 40. So, like, yeah, but he's an amazing British actor. Like, where was he?
Yeah, he's good. I mean, he is good throughout the movie. I thought the Jill character wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I wish there was someone else had played her.
Yep.
She didn't. I feel like she didn't
Like
pull off her half
Katie
of that
Holmes.
relationship.
There you go.
Katie
it
Holmes.
didn't work for me.
I'm sorry to go back to Monty Python, but like Michael Palin as Jack the Doctor, that he did an amazing job.
Yes.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he's really good.
Michael Palin.
But I know who Jack the Doctor is. I don't know who Michael. The name Michael Palin means nothing to me.
Him.
He
I don't know what else
Sarah Palin's husband.
But he was probably the standout role in this movie too.
Oh no way,
Michael
Sam was the standout role.
Oh, for me, Sam. Yeah,
He was phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah, he was really, really, really good. Yeah, what else was I going to say? I thought the funniest part of the movie, like scene to me, or I guess, was with Jack and Sam at his mom's party.
Yeah.
When he's talking to Jack's wife, and they're saying something about he thinks that she's got like a breast reduction or implants, but they're actually talking about her ears.
Oh.
That fucking scene was so funny to me. Like how he misunderstands the difference in her. And he says something about like, "Oh, I always wondered if they were real." And he's like, "Her ears?" It's so funny. Because then, like, he's just like, "Oh God, how do I recover from this?" But yeah, that was to me like that. That short scene was that. I guess that whole party scene, like when he sits down next to, I think her name is Shirley, the mom's friend's daughter.
Yeah, she was really good at acting too.
When he steps across to like get out of the couch from her, and she like gives him this dirty look, and then he looks back and she smiles, and then he turns away and she gives him another dirty look. That cracked me up. It reminded me actually of like Mr. Bean a little bit.
Okay,
which is something I don't like. I don't really like Mr. Bean, but
cannot stand Mr. Bean.
Reminded me just like the way she gave him that look. But yeah, that whole party scene.
And don't get me wrong, I do like British humor. I loved Red Dwarf.
What's the thing about Mr. Bean that you don't like?
Everything. Rowan Atkinson. Is that
I'd say all of it.
I don't know. I cannot stand. Do not like anything about Mr. Bean. I hated Ali G. Like way before he ever came to the U.S. I'd seen him on something somewhere, and I was like, man, he's awful. And I still feel that way. I thought Borat was okay. That movie was fine. But like that
was a big jump from like Mr. Bean to Ali G. Borat.
I was talking about British humor in general. Because I said I'm not a huge fan of Monty Python. I hate Mr. Bean. Okay. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, you fucking hate British humor." I don't.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hurt. I liked Holy Grail. I really liked Red Dwarf.
Okay, Red Dwarf. Okay.
I don't hate British humor.
Do you like Doctor Who?
Never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Is that
Same.
humorous?
I've never seen Doctor Who.
Well, I mean, it's more sci-fi stuff, but
I've never been a big sci-fi person. The only thing,
me neither, but
like I would say the only thing I really like in sci-fi ever is Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Fuck yeah, dude! Fucking Data. Data's the shit.
Love that whole series.
I've
seen every episode multiple times.
The best episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation is when Data becomes Sherlock.
Oh, that's a great one. Mike hates those though.
I hate those.
He hates the holodeck stuff.
Those
I
are
fucking
the
loved
best.
it. It's so good.
The holodeck episodes are
So
the
the
best,
holodeck
so
is the
dude.
worst.
So good.
Dude,
So good.
those are like comic relief, dude.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
They're so
Exactly.
bad. All of
like,
them.
dude,
So good.
Mike,
When
it's
when
keep-
Captain
Mike-
Picard becomes the
Brian,
detective, it's
hold up.
so good. So
Mike, there's like, you can only take enough of like the Borg, man, and like the Borg is like a
well,
fucking.
to be fair, the Borg didn't even show up until much later. In the
I
series.
know, but then after the Borg, there would be more holodeck episodes with Data as Sherlock, though.
Sure.
Right? But like there would be like you could only as a Star Trek fan, you could only take enough with like the Borg.
I'm not a Star Trek fan. I'm a Star Trek Next Generation fan.
Okay, whatever that is. But like you got the Klingon fucking conflict, you got the Borg coming in. I've always
that's all good stuff.
It's fine. It's all fine and dandy, but like
fucking Romulans.
like those holodeck episodes, they kind of made that TV show.
I love Sherlock Holmes was great, but also I just love the idea of the holodeck. Like I want a holodeck. One of those so bad.
I want a holodeck.
I think the idea of a holodeck is fun too, but right? I think all of the holodeck episodes are just real cringy and awful.
But here's the thing, guys. I don't know if like
he's wrong. Don't worry about it.
You're not going to change my mind.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's wrong.
But no. Here's another thing, guys. Like the holodeck, right? When you program the holodeck, is there a fucking time limit? Because once you gotta get
back on shift, man.
Yeah, exactly, right. So like once you get into the holodeck, you have no idea. The time is fucking. That shit is.
That shit passing.
Man.
Time be passing.
like you could be there and you think it's a week. That shit might be you'll be in that fucking holodeck for a month.
You gotta take a sabbatical.
Yes, those star dates are just flying.
That's so I had these conversations with my brothers, like that are more Star Trek fans. Like when you go into the holodeck, are you coming into the holodeck with like, okay, I got a 1 month sabbatical. Let me do this Sherlock Holmes episode. Like,
don't they address it? Don't they get like pause the holodeck?
Exactly.
They
often will in the episodes they will stop and go back to work and then come back to the simulation.
Who fucking does that?
It's in
real life. Who fucking does that?
I mean, everyone on Enterprise.
Dude, I'll be so anxious. Like, oh, I gotta stop this mystery. Let me go back to work. I can't wait to go back to the holodeck now.
But it's like playing Zelda Breath of the Wild. You play a bit.
I've never even played this game, and I'm pretty sure that you're fucking hooked on it right now, right?
No. I've had to take a break.
Did that actually happen? Wasn't Barkley in his stupid everyone? He's like the king of his Shakespearean world, and then is it Data? Somebody comes in and is like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yes.
So
I think it might have been Geordie, but yes, I know.
It was Geordie.
It was probably Geordie. He walks in, he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, that's right. They work together.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
let's get back to Brazil.
Anyway, so we watched this movie called Brazil. Features some.
I've only got a couple other things. Did you guys notice
British humor, right?
Did you not notice the mom's friend with the acid makeover thing?
Mm-hmm.
She sounds, I guess Dr. Octagon, I feel like, based his female impression on that character. They sound super familiar or similar.
Dr. Octagon, like the
like on
thing?
Is it Octagon Ecologist? Is that the name of the album?
Okay.
When he did like the nurse that is a character on that album, it's Cool Keith doing the voice, and he sounds a lot like that mom character.
That's pretty. That's a really deep analysis.
Could be. Like, I did think that that Sam's boss, the original boss, he sounded a lot like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit.
Wow.
Yeah, he did.
That's a really cool comparison.
But he
But
was. I actually.
Was that the voice actor?
No, I checked because I was
Okay.
like, man, that fucking sounds so much like Wallace.
That's really interesting.
It wasn't though.
No, because the voice actor for Wallace doesn't he look like Wallace?
He looks like Wallace, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
He does.
But yeah, but actually that character, Mr. Kurtzman.
Yes.
I liked how he. I mean, maybe I'm reading too far into it, but he presented himself as this like super incompetent boss.
Yeah.
But like, actually, he was like super manipulative.
Yes, absolutely.
And paranoid as well. Like he was like paranoid.
Sure, yeah.
Like,
But like he pretends like, oh, like he hurt his hand, he can't sign the documents for the check. But then later when he comes back, that same guy has signed his not accepting the raise or the promotion.
I don't know, guys. Like those scenes where like the workers were like pretending to be busy, and then they were going to watch the TV or whatever they're watching. For some reason, it reminded me of like maybe because we live in Japan, but it reminded me of like having like NFL access, right? And like you were supposed to be working, but like you and your like coworkers are like sitting there with your iPad like watching the fucking Sunday afternoon games.
Well, I mean, he's watching it in his office too.
Right. But like whenever when I saw that scene, I was like, oh man, I wish I still had NFL access online.
When I worked at the junior high school, I sat in the very far corner of the room.
Yeah.
And every Monday morning, I'd be in there. Like if I didn't have a class, I'd just be in there watching football. In the far corner.
Yeah, if I don't have a class, I have watched games in the computer lab at my school.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Why not?
Do it up.
I bought this little Bluetooth earpiece too, and I just put it in here.
There. Yeah.
Tiny. It's good.
So.
You want to talk to me?
I didn't understand why this movie was called Brazil until the fourth time I watched it.
What? Really? For real?
Well,
it doesn't take place in Brazil.
Oh, okay. That's true.
I never knew the name of the song until I realized, like, oh, the first thing of that song is Brazil. Like, I was like, okay, that song is why it's called Brazil. Like, but until that point, I had no idea why this movie was called Brazil.
I will admit to say that before I watched this movie, before anybody told me about this movie, when someone said this movie Brazil, I actually thought like this movie was about being in Brazil, like Brazil's future.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was set in Brazil until the end when I was like, wait, that's clearly not Brazil.
Before we watched this, if you had asked me what is this movie, I would have said I don't know. And if you pressed me, I would have said it's basically Blade Runner in Brazil. Is what I imagined it was.
That's good. Yeah, it's a good thing. But Blade Runner in Brazil.
It was
what would be different from Blade Runner in LA? Or
they speak Portuguese.
And they have a lot of parades.
Yeah. They do the samba.
Nice.
But the last thing I'll say is that I thought this was a really good critique of bureaucracy and how it can just balloon out of control. Like there were clearly no actual terrorists. It was just the government covering for their own fuck ups because it was like things had just gotten so big and huge and out of control they couldn't control it. Everyone constantly just trying to cover their own ass and pass the buck.
Right.
Like how many different terms did they have for someone being dead, deleted, or incomplete, or I thought all of the bureaucracy critiques were interesting. I liked all
clearly,
of that.
Mike, I totally agree with you. Like clearly, if you never know anything about this movie or the director or the screenwriter of this movie, you watch this movie, you can clearly see that either the guy who wrote this movie or the producer of this movie is really inspired by George Orwell, 1984.
Oh yeah, 1984 is all over this movie.
Yeah, it's just
Absolutely.
spread all over. Or like the fact that this, it's either George Orwell, it's that whole Orwellian vibe, or this guy clearly just, it was made in 1985, so this guy clearly hates that big government.
Have you guys both read that?
1984? Yeah.
Yeah.
And watched the movie. Have you watched the movie?
I've neither read it nor watched the movie.
Five
never
bagger
seen the
might
movie.
be a possible five bagger for Brian.
I've seen the Apple commercial, if that counts.
I've never seen the movie, but I've read the book. But yeah, like the interaction at the beginning of the movie when Jill.
Are you making fun of Mike?
I'm making fun of Mike because he reads a lot of books. He's a nerd.
You're such a nerd.
And we made fun of how much I read the past 3 episodes.
See, I had to keep it up.
Hey, I read.
Not as much as Mike.
But so the interaction at the beginning of the movie when Sam sees Jill for the first time on the screen.
Yeah.
Right? Like her interaction with that guy about, oh, do you have this? Oh, it doesn't have a stamp. I can't do anything.
Oh, that was good.
You gotta go back. Like that felt like being an immigration here.
Yeah.
Like, it was so familiar. I was like, oh my God.
Motherfucking, it felt like how I had to change my address for my residency card,
Yeah.
Like fucking, I gotta change from Shinagawa-ku to Megadoku. Like, holy fuck, why do I have to, go to 3 different rooms?
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, okay, do you have, this receipt? Yeah, okay. Oh, nope, sorry, no stamp. Clearly, you need a stamp here. It doesn't have a stamp.
Boom.
She's just like,
Yeah.
But even Bob Hoskins' character, right? Like he comes into his home, Sam Lowry's home, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, you want that document?" And he's like inching his way out of the home, and he's like,
it's 27B/6.
It's like, you get that 27B/76 document. You'll get, whatever it is. And he's like all like pissed off, where he's just like, I wanna, I'll be back.
Well, that's what sets off that whole side story, is that Sam says like, oh, because Sam got that from De Niro. De Niro says, oh, your house could be on fire, and I couldn't do anything unless I get a 27B/6. So he uses that on them, and then they're annoyed. So that's like they're just getting revenge on him.
Yep.
The entire rest of the movie, which I thought was funny.
All right. Is it ranking time, guys?
We're done with Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
Do we rank or drink first? I forget. I forget everything about this every time.
I don't know.
I think we
I've
have
got
to
my
choose
drink.
No,
I got my
drink
drink.
is already.
I have my drink.
No, you go first.
Okay. This is messed up because this drink, it's actually a cocktail. It's really,
okay.
Really?
Sure,
I
of
don't
course.
know if it's okay, but this drink is not from Brazil, but for some reason I gotta go with the Cuba Libre cocktail.
Totally not from Brazil.
I know it's from
I don't know what that is.
Cuba?
Cuba Libre.
No, yeah, but what is? I don't know what the drink is.
It's a tequila-based drink, and it's got orange juice in it.
Okay.
But anyways, it's really not from Brazil, but for some reason,
That's pretty perfect. It's very apropos.
Yeah,
This
For
video
some
has
reason,
nothing
the
to do
movie
with
has
Brazil.
nothing to do with Brazil either.
right.
So.
But for some reason, I'm feeling a Cuba Libre a cocktail right now, watching this movie, because it's like you got orange juice, you got tequila, fucking mashing it up together. It feels good. Mashing it up. But yeah, I feel Cuba Libre with this movie, Brazil movie. Yeah.
Brazil. Movie Brazil. Perfect. All right, mine. I was gonna say sangria, but I'm gonna change it now to a pina colada.
That sounds safe. Doesn't that sound safe?
What's safe about a pina colada?
Pina coladas are very safe.
Not if you put them up your butt. Then it's
Blood chug,
dangerous.
pina colada.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna change my mic. Make an edit on your list. Mine is a. You gotta do a inverted keg stand of a pina colada up your butt.
A keg. Wait, a keg full of pina colada.
No, just a keg stand. You don't drink a whole keg if you do a keg stand.
But if you're doing a keg stand, it's gonna be a fucking keg full of pina colada.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the keg is full of pina colada. You don't have to drink. I mean,
Yeah, but you don't drink the
You don't drink the entire
You don't
keg,
ingest. Right. Let's say ingest the entire thing in your butt.
That's insane. If you
may die.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
It's a inverted cake stand, butt cake stand of pina colada.
I guess it makes sense with Brazil.
I mean, that's steampunk, right?
That's pretty steampunk.
I say I don't really know what steampunk is, but I didn't think this movie was steampunk. But I don't honestly really understand what steampunk is. So
I mean, there are many definitions of steampunk.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, steampunk is it's okay. Steampunk is.
Oh, Brian, here we go.
Ready? I'm gonna break it down.
Here we go.
It's like futuristic except with like Victorian era stuff.
Sure.
So you have like
you have like
a jetpack, but it's like, you know.
Have you ever seen that movie
like
Rocket Man?
Gears and.
Yeah, I've seen
Rocket Man?
Rocketeer.
Rocketeer, yeah.
Yeah.
That's steampunk.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's steampunk. Well, I don't know if that's steampunk.
What?
Is it steampunk?
Yeah.
What's See, this is what I mean. I don't really understand what steampunk is, but it's fine. I don't really care what it is.
But so steampunk originated from the Victorian area because steam engine power was the thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought it meant. Just steam powered Victorian era.
So you take that,
but it's like
sci-fi.
You take that
exact sci-fi, futuristic sci-fi.
There you go. Okay.
So you got jetpacks, but they're made with steam.
Have you ever played Final Fantasy VII?
No.
Like,
I have.
There's a lot of steampunk elements in Final
Have you ever seen the movie Steam Boy?
Yes.
No,
it's an anime.
So. No.
I had that on UMD.
How about
Yeah.
how about that Ghibli movie, Rapita's Castle in the Sky? Have you ever seen that?
Are those two different movies, or are they the same movie?
Completely different.
Don't think I've seen that either.
I've never seen either of them either.
Okay.
All right, my drink. At the end of the movie, when Sam is in the jail cell thing, and his boss comes and talks to him dressed up as Santa Claus.
That was pretty fucking awesome.
I was going to say, I'm surprised more people don't claim that this is their favorite Christmas movie. Because the whole thing takes place around Christmas. I had
the thought. I was going to ask you guys, which is more Christmas, this movie or Die Hard?
Exactly, right? People say, like, oh, Die Hard's the best Christmas movie. I feel like this movie doesn't ever come up in that whole, like, oh, what's a good Christmas movie?
I was wondering, like, did this movie come out during Christmas?
See, I don't think... I think the statement is wrong. I don't think Die Hard is the best Christmas movie. I think Die Hard's the best movie set at Christmas. The best Christmas movie is probably Home Alone.
No, A Christmas Story, dude. A Christmas Story.
No, A Christmas Story is overrated. It's a good movie. It is a good movie. It's a good movie, but it's overrated.
Come on. Dude, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
That movie is amazing.
That movie's funny.
That is probably the best.
Amazing, dude.
I think that's probably my favorite Christmas movie.
Dude, and then he fucking sets up the Christmas lights at his home.
No, the best scene in that movie is the sled scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
People talk about Home Alone being the best Christmas movie, but dude, Chevy Chase, National Lampoon.
It is the best Christmas movie.
It's one of.
All right, back to my drink.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. National Lampoon is the best Christmas movie.
It's so fucking
His
good.
boss comes in dressed up as Santa Claus.
Is it gonna be eggnog?
Gives him a bottle of barley water.
Ooh.
Oh,
which I don't know what.
That was one scene, right?
Is.
That was like one scene.
I
It's
assumed
like
it was alcoholic of some
Mugi
sort.
Jochu or something.
Yeah.
But so my drink is not barley water; it's barley wine.
There you go.
Barley wine. There you go.
Which are I guess it's a type of beer, but yeah, I like them occasionally, which is kind of how I felt about this movie.
Okay.
Before I didn't really like it. Now I have a much higher opinion of this movie, but
I'm just feeling.
I probably won't watch it again.
Okay.
I definitely won't.
When I drink a barley wine, I was like, that was okay. I probably won't drink one of those again.
Okay.
And then maybe a couple years later, I was like, oh yeah, barley wine. I'll try this. Kind of like that. Yeah, barley wine.
Tonight I was at Baird Tap Room in Takano Baba, and they had that Oyaji barley wine special menu.
Oh, I've had Baird's barley wine.
It's fucking pretty good, man. I didn't have it tonight though, but it was pretty good. I've had it before.
Yes, I've had it before too.
Yeah.
It's all right.
That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Baird beer is pretty good.
By the way, I don't know if you guys completely agree, but I do think that Baird's is the best beer in Japan.
Yeah, it's one of the best. It's one of the best.
I think it's the best.
Wow.
Yes.
I disagree, but
I think Shiga Kogen is pretty fucking good, man. Shiga Kogen
I agree.
beer is
I've only
really
had Baird a few times. You can't really get it around here.
Yeah.
They're starting to sell it at Costco.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Costco in years.
Facebook. Check it
Not
out on
our
Facebook.
Costco, man.
No.
Not yet. I fucking.
My favorite Japanese beer is Hida Takayama.
You sent me that link, man. You sent me the link of the brewery. Yeah.
It's very good.
Did you say the beerery?
Yeah.
They should just call them beereries.
All right, let's get this list going.
Let's get this list going. Here we go.
This is tough, man. This fucking list.
I know where it goes. You want me to just put it there, you guys? I'm ready to just go ahead and put it there. I know exactly where this movie goes.
Where does this go?
I know exactly where it goes.
I know where it goes.
Mel knows where it
So do
goes.
I.
Mike knows where it goes.
All right, should I go first?
You don't want to go out at the same time?
Oh yeah, let's go all at the same time.
Wait, are we
That's
just gonna say the
always
number?
worked out so
Are we saying the
well.
number first? Or?
Yeah, of course we're saying the number.
Okay, we'll see the number.
Yeah, you say the number where it goes, and like, let's say you put it at number 13.
Yeah.
It goes 13. Under Siege would go down to 14, like that.
Okay.
Oh man, Under Siege.
Under Siege is pretty fucking good.
It is the worst movie of all time according to our list.
We haven't seen. Okay, there's some bad movies, but Under Siege is not one of the worst.
It's the worst movie of all time. I mean,
It's the worst movie on the list.
ranked movie of all time.
Wow.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Me too.
All right.
So we do Sano. 10. Oh, I was gonna go.
I didn't know if you were proposing it or doing it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I was gonna do it, and I was about to say it.
I thought you were asking if that's how we were going to review
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna do it.
All right, we'll do it. I'm
So
ready.
Sano, and then the number.
Okay, now you've explained
Yeah,
it.
that's what I thought.
That's exactly. I thought that's what was happening.
All right, here we go.
You said 10.
Here we go. Sano, 10.
9.
Sorry, I was still laughing. Yeah, I agree. I think it goes 9.
Yeah, I think 9. I think it goes above Maltese Falcon.
Okay, fine. It's fine.
Oh, I love it, fellas.
Can we do that from now on? Just say Sano, and then
And then goof around for a bit.
And then, yeah, they laughing and not actually saying anything. But yeah, I was thinking 9 the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I thought that was an easy 9. All right,
Yeah,
that was
10,
fantastic. We just fucking nailed it.
I'm surprised, Mel. The way you were talking, I thought you were top 5.
Yeah, I thought
Well, I was
exactly.
like-
I thought he was going to go above Sleeper.
Like,
No.
yeah, I thought you were gonna go like Usual Suspects up there.
Oh
The way
no.
you said it.
Like I watched the Miller's Crossing today, and I was like, so I'm judging
Wasn't
this
that
movie.
yesterday?
No, it was on. I watched it on Monday, and
Didn't you just say you watched it today?
no, I'm
Oh, yeah, you absolutely just said you watched it Miller's
No.
Crossing today. Just now.
check your Slack. I fucking posted
No,
it.
I know you didn't watch it today. You just said you watched it today.
My bad. But
Yep. Right. So,
So
you
yeah, I
watched
don't know.
Miller's
Just the
Crossing?
way you were talking about it's a
I
phenomenal
fucking love
film.
Miller's Crossing.
I thought
and-
you were gonna rank it top 5.
No, no, no. This is. I mean, Brazil. For me, Brazil is not above Miller's Crossing. That's for sure. Because I really love Miller's Crossing, and I still do have a problem with our list. But I mean, I came in late with this in the game with the 5 baggers, so you know I can't help it.
Mr.
You just gotta watch the movies and watch the episodes, and then
Yep.
I'm not gonna fucking catch up that.
Then you got no place to complain.
and you don't get
But-
to readjust the list.
I will say that both this movie and Invasion of the Body Snatchers this is why I put it directly below that. Is the farther I've gotten away from both of those movies, the more I've appreciated them. Both of those
Yeah.
in particular.
Like
Well,
I think I agree with Mel. Like I didn't think it was better than Miller's Crossing, but I could see it going to 8 to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but I like that movie more.
Yeah. And like I said, I've earned much more of an appreciation of that since I've been away from it. I think if I were to watch it again, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I think I would
Well, it's a
like
very,
it a lot more the second time.
It was a very pioneer movie, man. It was it
Absolutely. But
You
I
know,
mean,
it's
there's
good.
a lot of them on the list are. So, my
Oh
turn.
God, here we go. Oh God, Brian's talking.
Here we go. Yeah.
Brian is talking.
All right, so the movie that I've picked, you guys know, is a documentary. One of the reasons is I wanted to, like,
Oh, I didn't know it was a documentary.
I suspected it when he
I
started.
thought it might be, but I didn't know.
During this week, Mike, when he was like, "Guys, you guys
it's a
don't
fucking
mind-
dead-on impression.
You guys don't mind.
Dude.
You guys don't mind if we do like a Hulu or like Amazon
Well, no.
Prime?"
I said in very specifically that was not related to my first question. My first question was, what do you guys feel about a limited release movie?
So guys, what do you feel about a limited release?
God, it's like there's two of me in the room.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, so you guys, yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
What do you guys? So how do you feel about a release movie?
So anyway, I wanted to know what you guys felt about a limited release movie, and then in addition, just get it out there. What do you feel about a TV movie? What do you feel about something released directly to digital platform?
Right.
Just so we don't have to have that conversation again. In any case, so one of the reasons I picked, I wanted a documentary, and like you said, Mike, you just hadn't found one that you'd watched or you wanted to watch 5 times. Neither had
Yeah,
I.
I have thought it. I've considered documentary before, but just
Yep.
nothing has been like something I'd want to watch. I don't think I've ever watched a documentary more than once ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I have either. And I love documentaries, but also
Yeah,
I love checking off tasks.
Yeah, I
And-
know you do.
Actually,
And this is one that is not no one has picked a documentary. So I thought, now's my chance because a documentary was released this week that I've been really wanting to watch.
oh shit.
This
What's up?
week.
Nah, I'm thinking right back in my mind of like what documentaries were released this week.
Well, this is a very minor thing. So it has.
Can we guess? Can we guess it?
Yeah.
Though? Okay.
I'll tell you. It was released for the general people to download or whatever this week.
Was
but
it in?
it actually-
was it shown in theaters?
It was shown in theaters. There was a tour across the U.S. and Canada recently, and I want to say it was probably shown in 10 to 15 theaters at most. There's almost no way you guys. There's a chance you might know, but I doubt it. I really, really doubt Mike has any idea.
I'm too busy reading books, can't figure out what the documentary is.
You got your nose stuck in fucking George Orwell's
Way too busy
masterpiece.
with a fucking anthology of fucking Indian poetry.
Fucking reading Ulysses over here.
I've never read Ulysses. I want to, but I've
Dude,
never read
See,
it.
of course you want to. Oh my god, fucking bucket list, right?
list.
Yeah, nerd bucket list.
Yeah, if you really want to know, I think a couple years ago, maybe this, I don't know, last year, there was like a version of Ulysses that was like annotated, so it helps you reference all of the Homer stuff at the same time.
Oh god.
Like, to me, like, the nerd bucket list would be like the fucking 1970s book of like how to program C.
Oh,
Like-
that's a different kind of nerd. That's
That to me, that's like a nerd bucket list, like how to program like Hello World.
no. So here's what nerds would be doing right now: is sending you a message about how there was no C in programming in the 1970s.
Binary.
It was
What
all
the?
Pascal.
It was all Pascal. Hello, Pascal.
All right. All right. Can I ask a couple questions?
You can ask
Is
as
the
many
documentary
questions. I can just tell you.
about
Okay.
nature?
No, not in particular. No.
Is it has to do with American society?
Goodness gracious! I mean, it takes place in America. I don't know
That's
how much
pretty-
American
that's a pretty
society.
wide open question.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
how much of American society. So, the main protagonist of the movie is not American. He's Canadian. Doing something in America.
Hold on.
Is it about sports?
Yes.
Oh,
I can, in fact, tell you this Canadian's name if you guys want.
sure.
His name is Gary Robbins.
Gary Robbins.
Hold
Canadian.
on. Canadian
Sports.
David Robbins talking about sports in America. Is it about doping?
No.
Okay.
At least not that I know of.
Mike, you have any clue?
Is Gary? Was it Gary Robinson?
Robbins.
Robbins. Is he alive currently?
Is he currently?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so this isn't okay.
Is he an ice hockey player?
No.
Okay.
cycling?
Nope. Closer.
Triathlon.
Triathlon?
A third of the way there.
Oh, he's not a triathlon athlete, but he's like that super like Iron Man
Decathlon.
decathlon.
No, that's not even a third of the. That's the wrong third of the way. You're going the wrong direction. You've now made it a tenth of the way.
He's a cyclist. He's a cyclist though.
No, he's not a cyclist.
Swimmer.
He's a swimmer or a runner.
The other one.
Runner.
He's a runner.
He's a runner. Okay.
All right, so there's the thing. Do you know what the Barkley is? Or the Barkley
Oh,
Marathon?
I do. Yes.
So
No.
there's a documentary on Netflix that is not very well received about it.
The Barclays. Yeah, I've seen that.
Wait.
All right.
oh, okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
I don't know about the Barkley Marathon, so this might be awesome for me.
So the Barkley Marathon is like one of the most extreme marathon challenges. About 100-mile race, I believe.
So it's like a super marathon.
It's called Ultra, but yes,
Ultra marathon.
Yeah, well, with a twist.
with a twist because it's
It's on Netflix.
no. Do you
There-
not,
there
do
is
you
a
not
documentary
remember
on
what we were
Netflix
talking
about
about
the
before we
Barclays.
recorded? There is a documentary on Netflix called It's called the Barkley Marathon or something like that.
Mhm.
This movie that we're going to be watching is called Where Dreams Go to Die. All right, so there's this YouTube guy that I've followed for a while now. He's called the Ginger Runner. He's from Seattle. He lived in California for a while, and he mostly makes documentaries about ultramarathon runners and stuff like that. And he does a weekly show and all that. So I've been following him for quite a while. He recently just hit 100,000 subscribers or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's made these kind of longer format movies that have been very interesting. Not full-length movies or anything like that, but videos. So recently, he released his first full-length movie, and so now we're going to go from the longest movie of 2 hours and 22 minutes to the shortest movie, which is only barely shorter than Friday Night Lights, but it's an hour and 12 minutes.
That's pretty short.
It's
That's
pretty
like
short.
Was
that's like a
Friday
TV
Night Lights the
episode.
shortest movie?
Hour and 16 minutes over here with Friday Night Lights. So 4 minutes short.
Okay.
So, but there's a documentary about Gary Robbins' attempt at the Barkley 2016 and 2017. He's doing it again this year, and it's coming up pretty soon. But, so this movie was made for those two. So, the Barkley is basically, this is the only thing I'm going to tell you about this, is it's an ultra marathon, but like it's in like a state park, and you have to complete tasks during the marathon. So it's not just a straight run, and it's very, very, very few people. I think in the 20, 30-year history of it, maybe 12 people have finished it. So it's a very difficult.
Is it like
race.
like orienteering? Like, is it like
A little bit?
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Like they gotta learn their fucking compass kind of shit.
You should watch the one on Netflix. I thought it was good. I didn't know there was
what's it called,
controversy
Mike?
about
I don't even know what is it.
It's
I
if
forget,
you
hold
look
on.
up Barkley, it'll show up. It's like the first thing. It's called the Barkley Marathons or something like that.
Let me
It
watch
doesn't-
this first. Let me watch this.
It doesn't have a fancy title. Yeah, I'm gonna say, why don't you just watch this first? So anyway, this is the movie I've picked, and I've been dying to watch this, and it just came out this week, finally available for download. It'll be up later this year for free on his YouTube channel.
But it's gonna be in like selected theaters or something.
No, it's already been. So
Oh,
they did
okay.
a tour across Canada and the U.S. Like I said, 10 to 15 theaters. I forget how many. So he's shown it to a bunch of people already. And it finally was available to be downloaded this past week. And I've been dying to watch it. And now I've got to wait until we can arrange for the next 5-bagger, which sucks because I kind of want to just watch it now. But I have no idea if it's good. I've not read any reviews of it, except I did see his travel log when he went around during the tour.
Yeah.
And people seem to react very positively to it. So I'm excited.
Cool.
I can't wait. Where Dreams Go to Die.
Nice.
Yep. First documentary.
I'm actually Googling it right now.
All right. Do your thing, Bo.
Where dreams? What is it? Where dreams go to die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
If
I'm
you
glad
go,
you're doing the documentary.
yeah. If you go,
I tried and could not find one I wanted to watch more than once. So,
Okay. Okay.
if you go to his YouTube channel, The Ginger Runner, he does a lot of shoe reviews, but he also makes these interesting short documentaries about like races he's done or his wife has done, or there was one he did another tour showing a movie, like a short movie he did, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, about a guy who had that's Gary Robbins. He's got a wicked fucking beard. It's wicked.
Dude, Mike, this guy looks like he just came out of prison.
Huh.
He looks like he just came out of prison.
But yeah, there's a bunch of long form videos that on his channel like that are really, really well done. He does all the music for all of his movies and stuff like that. So and you may have seen him on TV before. He used to be an actor. And he's been in some stuff you may have seen. Like there's that show called like Video Game High School or something like that. No.
What?
I don't know. I guess it's sort of popular. I only watched part of the episode that he was on, but it was awful, so I stopped. But anyway, that's what we're watching. Where Dreams Go to Die. Look forward to it next month, maybe.
Sweet.
Woo!
Yay, yay, yay! All right, we done with Brazil.
Yes.
We are.
Any closing words? Obrigado.
We're good.
We're good. All right, bye-bye, stream.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, record.